Hi, I'm Corporal Tracy Knight. Welcome to FWPD3D, an inside view of some of the happenings of your Fort Worth Police Department. In this week's episode, we're going to be interviewing two officers who wear the Axon Flex On-Officer camera system. Those officers are Officer Rena Dulworth, she's an NPO, a neighborhood police officer, and Officer Kenneth Simmons. He's a member of one of our tactical units, a zero tolerance team. And in this week's episode, we're going to have a special guest host. Some of you may recognize him. He's Fort Worth Police Chief Jeffrey Halstead. Take it away, Chief.
Thanks, Corporal Knight. Tell you, it's a real pleasure to get to sit here with a couple of the officers that are out there actually being pioneers with this new technology. And what's really beneficial to me is I get to sign a lot of documents to fund these projects. And a lot of times I don't get to talk to the actual officers who are wearing this technology. So I just want to say how much I appreciate you using this technology and actually coming in here before your shifts and talk to me about it. So if you don't mind, can you just tell me how long have you been wearing the Axon cameras?
I've been wearing it about 2 years.
About approximately a year.
And then what do you see as the benefits within your assignments? We have a patrol here as well as zero tolerance. What are the benefits in your assignments as a patrol officer or zero tolerance officer in wearing this technology?
The benefits that I see, it's the Axon camera. It can be a good training tool. Also, too, it's a perfect tool for collecting evidence. It also, too, gives a. If we do have to go to trial, and when we have to present evidence, it also, too, gives you an officer's actual point of view of actual what the officer at the time saw, perceived. It gives you everything.
You know, and I think that was one of the advantages being one of the first major city departments going into this technology is I believe in you. I believe in our mission. And I'm willing to put forward a lot of investment because you're out there by yourself at times in very dangerous situations. And I know you've been in a dangerous situation, if you don't mind sharing that situation with us.
I have. I was in a pursuit where a driver blew past me at a high rate of speed, and I was already driving down the road. So when I saw that, I figured, either this guy's running from somebody, something's wrong. People don't usually fly past a marked patrol car like that. So I started to follow the vehicle. He continued to speed away, so I turned on my lights and tried to get him to pull over. He went even faster and took off on me, so at that point I was in a pursuit, and I'm by myself. So I start calling out, as we do, and I knew at that point that other officers were getting involved, but they were not close to me. So it's just me and my cameras. I had my Axon camera on and my in-car video going. So I just followed the guy. I think we ended up going about 7 miles. And at the end of the pursuit was where the camera on me, my Axon camera, actually came in handy, because where my vehicle stopped and where the guy parked, I got out of the car and you couldn't see to my left where the guy had pulled in his driveway because of the angle of my car. So at that point, my Axon camera picked up the rest, and I jumped out of the car and at gunpoint and had the guy at gunpoint because I didn't know who else was in the vehicle or anything like that. So I just started giving him commands, and luckily he complied and he laid down, and I held him there, and I could hear the sirens coming. And my backup got there and helped me out, and so we were able to take him into custody safely. No officers got hurt, no citizens got hurt. The arrested person was fine, so it turned out really well.
And I get a lot of officers that I talk to about this across the country because we teach on this technology in different cities. When I was in Boston recently, some of those officers are very, very worried they're going to do something on video and get in trouble for it. I want you to be honest with me. Have you ever worried about that?
No.
And how about yourself?
I don't have anything to hide, so I think it's a great tool. I like knowing that it's a backup for me to know that, I'm going out there and doing my job, and, things happen in our job. So I want it to be out there, and you can't hide it. What's on video is on video. It's right there.
And y'all are seasoned in our organization, and what I mean by that, you got many years on the department. Do you ever look back in time in your career or in another assignment and think, there was one incident I wish I had a camera on? And if you don't mind sharing, and Officer Simmons, I'll go to you. Do you have incident back in time, use of force incident, you wish you had this technology?
Yes, it was a couple of years ago. I wish I did, but it's the outcome, I did have independent witnesses, but at the time, pretty much I just had to go on my statement and the officer's statement, and I guess the arrested person or the person that when I was involved in officer-involved shooting, but didn't know at the time we had an independent witness that was sitting in his car and nobody saw him. But later on, that's when I found out, and I was like, okay, this is what we saw. This is what this guy did. And then when the investigators got there, they started asking me a question: did I have my camera? When I got there, I didn't even think about turning the camera on. I just got there. I saw my subject there, and I had to act.
So you were involved in a shooting?
Yes.
And do you ever, looking to the future, a lot of young officers that are coming out of the academy, do you use your experience sometimes to help younger officers understand that this is a benefit to us?
It is. It's a benefit because I'm sure that looking back at it now, like if I didn't have the independent witnesses, you just had 3 officers' word, and you got the public perception of what actually took place. So this is a good benefit. Like I said, it's good for collecting evidence, and also too gives you an officer actual point of view. It was a scary situation,
Right.
so it gives you, what I saw, what I felt. If you was in my shoes, that's what this is what I saw, this is how I react. So it gives you an officer point of view of what actually is happening.
Officer Dulworth, do you ever look back in time before you had the technology and have a particular incident? It could be a traffic stop or maybe an investigation where you think, boy, it really would benefit me if I had a camera back then.
Yeah, I have quite a few. I've been doing this 7 years, and so for a good first at least 5.5 years of my career, I didn't have a camera. And I didn't have anything that intense, but I did have just citizen complaints, saying things that I said things or did things that I didn't do. And it's a horrible feeling when somebody tells you or calls and complains and accuses you of something you know you didn't do, and all you have is your word against their word. There was no other witnesses. The public doesn't understand what we have, that we have guidelines that we have to follow and things that we have to do, and sometimes they may not like what we have to say, even though it's within the law. It's what we're informing them of, what the law says or what the case may be, and they may not like that, and so they call and complain. And I know I'm doing my job, and I'm just out there doing the best I can. And so it's nice to have that on video to say, when somebody does call and complain, you can say, no, Sergeant, or whoever, you can watch the video, here's what happened. And then there's no disputing it. I have to stay honest, and so do the citizens.
I think that's a great point. We saw in Rialto, California, when they implemented 100% of their deployment, small department, they had 0 sustained complaints within their internal affairs division because we know we deploy in a very, very professional manner. And I have so much confidence in all of y'all. When you go out to complete your mission, I know how professional you are. And actually, I use this technology to brag about us. That's how confident I am you're doing it. But for maybe some officers that are a little bit skeptical of this technology, or maybe a citizen that doesn't understand this, do you mind trying to talk to the viewers and explain to some that may not understand why this is so good for law enforcement? We'll start with you, Officer Simmons.
Like I said earlier, it's also too a good training tool. We can just say, for instance, if an officer had done something questionable, we can always look back on it and learn from that.
So you see this kind of as an accountability measure.
Yes.
Within the profession.
Yes.
Do you also see it as an increase in transparency of how we do our job?
Increase in transparency?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Officer Dulworth, how about you? Maybe some officers that are a little skeptical, they don't want to, because we have over 275 of these deployed. Got another 330, 340 in stock. My goal, I would love to have over half of everyone in uniform to wear this technology, because it has already saved the careers of 2 of our officers. And I know that we do great work out there, but what advice would you have to someone that's pretty skeptical of this technology?
Mine's the same. It's kind of along the same lines. Once the video and the audio are recorded, it goes into a database and I can't touch it. I can't delete it. I can't edit it. I can't do anything with it. All I can do is view it. So it goes on to evidence.com, which is a website. We can use those as a tool for us. If we need to review the video later, we're able to review the video. But there's whatever, if it's recording, it's recording. So I'm held accountable for anything I say or do. And we're all human, you know, we do make mistakes. So even if I make a mistake, I know it's going to catch it, you know, and that's fine because I'm not trying to hide anything. So just the fact that it's a tool we can use that we don't have access to do anything with other than it goes on a website, and there has to be, I believe, admin or someone has to, if anything needed to be erased or whatever, there's a system for, you know, certain videos of how they're tagged as what kind of evidence as to how long they stay in the system, because it, you know, it can only hold so much. So
You're exactly right, and those security protocols are actually impossible for any outside, what we term as hackers, to come into the organization. So no one can get in and manipulate any type of evidence or activity that's on these videos. Well, I just wanted to say, not just from your chief of police, but someone that really admires what you do for a living, thank you for being receptive to change and really driving some of the new technology into our profession. So I really appreciate you coming down. And I think you can tell right now that this is the future of policing, and I tell you, we're really proud to be the leaders in policing. So if you want to just stay in touch with us, and make sure you friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and join us in a few more weeks. We'll have another exciting episode of Fort Worth PD 3D.